Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more UFO 50s, specifically of the book club variety. In this episode, these last 2 weeks, we've been playing through both the Big Bell Race as well as Pilot Quest Return to Zoldath. And now we're going to discuss it. I say we, it's me, and also my brother, Will. Will, introduce
Hello,
yourself.
I'm Will. I am a gamer alongside my brother Phoenix.
Yeah. So, tell me. Let's start with the Big Bell Race. What is the Big Bell Race?
The Big Bell Race is a little racer inspired by Campanella, and it features you and six or seven other UFOs flying around a track. The big mechanic of the game is that you are affected. It is 2D and you are affected by gravity. So it plays a little bit like Flappy Bird, a little bit like Mario Kart, and a little bit like I'm gonna run into a wall and die.
Yeah. Well, is it really running into a wall if the computers knock you into it every single chance they get?
It-
It's more like being kindly
Maybe
directed to the wall, politely.
as much as one can be.
Yeah. So, I want to get your first impressions of the game. Like when you first played the game, you've been playing for 5 minutes, whatever. First impressions.
Yeah.
What were they?
First impressions. It is short and sweet and simple. It does exactly what it wants to be and nothing else.
Yeah, it is. It might be the most surprising game in the collection because it is so small. Most games, there's like a good amount there. But this game is literally 8 tracks. I think there's there's 4 different items you can get from item pickups. And that's it. I think there's only 2 songs in the game. It's literally the race song, which is never different between the races, and then the intro song. There's not even a credit song or anything. So this is the only game. Do you get shovelware vibes from this? Am I the only one who gets that?
Maybe my definition of shovelware is a little different. Because maybe I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Are you thinking just like a little thing? Just a thing?
Like they shoved it out the door because they felt obligated to. Because like, in universe, right? And this is like just in the description of both games. Campanella was like their breakout game. And like it was why they rebranded to UFO Soft. Like it was probably the most important game and so far. And it was so good that 2 months later in universe, only 2 months after the release of Campanella, they released the Big Bell Race, which is crazy to me. So it's like one of those like very quick turnaround, like almost cash grab type games. Which honestly is a little surprising, considering how much polish and details put into literally the other 49 games.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's a good thing or a bad thing, though?
I think that this game holds no punches, holds 0 bars, etc.
Yeah.
And it tells you exactly what it is from the get-go, and in my second, third, etc. impressions, I've gotten that, yeah, this is basically the same, just with new and interesting tracks, and I think the track designs are good.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think that I actually quite like the track design of this game. I wish that there was more. Like, the Mario Kart fan in me is like, I wish that there were like, at least like 3 cups or something of 8 tracks.
Right. But a Grand Prix of 8 tracks isn't bad.
No, it's not. And it's like a good 15 minutes investment.
Yeah.
So, here's my hot take. I do not like the way that Campanella controls. For one very small reason, which is that, at least I'm not going to talk about the original Campanella, I don't like how bouncy you are the moment you get hit. It's like you get hit, and then you instantly take like 2 points of damage because you get knocked
Yeah.
into the wall, and while you're trying to recover, they'll just hit you again before you have a chance to do anything. Like, I think the iframes are not generous enough. Like, once you take damage, it is likely that you will actually just die and have to start over the lap. Which is a very evil way to do damage, by the way. My biggest criticism, though, I have to say, with the game is this. There's no catch-up mechanics at all. There is no way to catch up if you are a lap or two behind. Because even if you attack the people in first, almost everybody will be ahead of you. Because you lose a lap.
Yeah.
And
even though the tracks are so small, losing a lap is devastating.
Yeah, it is pretty much an instant game over if you're going for the cherry, which I tried to do. I tried to record an episode where I went for the cherry, and it was so bad, and I was so annoyed the whole time that I erased the episode and started over.
Is the cherry get first in every race?
Yes. I would almost say that it's not like the hardest cherry, but it's probably the most aggravating cherry. Because you have to do all 8 perfectly, and you have to replay all of them from the beginning if you mess up even once. So, like, the whole video was 30 minutes of me doing the first 3 races over and over, basically. I think I got to race 5 once, and then I was like, okay. And, like, it's a little strange, honestly. I think that it's one of the games I've played where the cherry requirement actually made me like the game less. Like, I think the cherry requirement should have been, like, get first in, like, maybe, like, 5 or 6 out of the 8 races. So, like, it still challenges you to do very well, but there's a little leniency, because, again, the computers only target you, pretty much. Like, have you ever seen computers beat up on each other the way that they beat up on you?
No, and if they do, it is entirely coincidental.
Like they'll happen to hit them with an item, but, like, the moment you're within range of the melee attack, which, by the way, why does a UFO only have a melee attack? Like, what? They, like, every single, like, CPU will just go for an attack immediately. Which is kind of insane. Also, you always start out in last place, even if you won the last race, which makes the cherry even harder to get. It's like the opposite of Mario Kart, where, like, no matter what, you always start in 12th. Like that's just, or an 8th. Like, that's just weird. It's like, you basically have to start from the start over as if you sucked it up last round, which just, and obviously it's like, it's funny that we're comparing this to Mario Kart, but this is basically like, it's more like an this is like an obstacle course. This is like, it's like Wipeout is basically what it is. Like, you're going through like an obstacle course, and everyone's bumbling into each other, knocking each other into the sludge, or like the large ball or whatever. And again, not in a bad way, but, like, it's not Mario Kart. Like, as the only racer, somehow, the only racer in the entire collection, which is really weird to me, it's almost not even a kart racer at all, or like a racer at all. It's almost more of an obstacle course, which is a little funny. So, like, what would you say your overall impressions of the game are? Like, you've played it, you know, what do you finally think about the game?
I think that if diegetically, it is definitely like a little cash grab, but it's a fine game in its own right.
Yeah.
I wish there had been, like, a sequel which expanded more on it. Like, I think Hyper Contender has exclusively unique characters. So something like that would have been my preference, but I understand that not every game can have a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, Hyper Contender is an interesting one. I can't wait to get to that one. One little funny thing that I like about this game that you will start to see in other games in the future is that there's like a revolving cast of generic, not like generic, but like sci-fi characters that just like start appearing in a lot of games in the future.
Well, here's the thing. I actually kind of think they are generic, and I think this is what makes them interesting.
Well, but that would be true, except for Slard is there. Because it was funny, so
Yeah,
the other game we're about to play, we'll talk about, is Pilot Quest. And Slard is, I mean, not like a
he's
major
there.
character, but like he is a character there.
He's there. Slart is there.
And so like it's funny that like a character like in terms of series history, like he first appears in the Big Bell Race, doesn't show up, and then all of a sudden shows up in game 44 or whatever. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
But it's like the beginning of like multiplayer games or like many players competing games where like Pilot and Isabel will often be there. Alpha eventually joins as well from Velgress. We'll get to her later. I just think it's interesting that like the wider world of like the Sci-fi UFO Soft universe. I think this is the game it begins. I don't think there's another game earlier that like has all these characters in them.
Whoops, I cut out.
How could you? Grilling you.
I'm sorry. I'm
I-
sorry.
I don't really care that much. So if you had to give the score out of a 10 for the Big Bell Race, what would you give it?
It's short, it's sweet, it's simple, it hides nothing, it's slightly annoying, the tracks are interesting, the level design is fine. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
That's a good rating, honestly. I feel like it can't really earn anything higher than that because it's so small. I'm going to give it a special designation of a Slard out of 5. I feel like it earns it. I feel like it's done a good job of being a Slard, the only Slard type game before Pilot Quest.
Well, there's 2 of them.
Yeah. Yep, so that is the Big Bell Race, and I'm not surprised that segment was so short because the game itself is very small. And now we move on to one of the stranger games in the collection, Pilot Quest. Will, tell us about Pilot Quest. What is Pilot Quest for those who have never played UFO 50?
Pilot Quest is a game where Pilot goes on a quest. Just kidding, he gets crash landed on a planet, Pikmin style, and his ship breaks. Yeah, thankfully, there is no time limit because this game takes a while. Because you have to go out and find your ship parts. Unfortunately, you can only do that in 30-second spurts by buying meat from the vendor. This game is actually an idle game disguised as an adventure game, and I was a little surprised to find that out because it's weird.
Yeah, it's really strange. In fact, the only way to know that is if you read the description of the game on the main menu. Where it says that it uses.
I should have done.
It like says it's like the first and only game to use the LX3's internal timer, which is pretty cool. It's like it reminds me of the original 1000-Year Door, where it also uses the internal timer of the GameCube to like calculate the lotto tickets, and if you try to like time travel, it'll actually like detect it and like ban you from it.
I'm assuming we have both seen the same video about the Happy Lucky Lottery, and if you haven't, there's a video, I believe by Strider7X, about the Happy Lucky Lottery, where sorry, I got off track. It basically, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wish that guy would come back, but it's okay. So, first impressions, because you did not know it was an idle game. What were your first impressions of the game?
My first impressions were that I hated it. I am not going to sugarcoat it one bit. I did not like this game. I was so confused why everything took so long, and it took me a full day to realize that this is an idle game. And I didn't like that very much because, well, I actually still don't, but I understand it better now.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair, because if the game inside of the video game itself does not actually tell you anything about the idle effects. The only way you would be able to tell is if you looked at the top left corner at the little moon crystals and see that once you plant a seed that it starts going up, like automatically. But
And
like
that takes a while.
it does take a while. But what the loop of the game ends up being is like you come back to the game and you have some crystals. You use those crystals to get more seeds, which lets you get more crystals quicker. But then you need to start getting ingots and from all your crystals, and then so on and so forth. You get, you get workers, you get a big spider eventually. You get like storehouses, you can upgrade your weapon. And then finally you have the last thing in the game besides you can, and then once you buy, you can use ingots to buy, not ingots, the crystals to buy meat. The more meat you have, the longer you can explore the wild area. And the bigger storage you get, the more meat you can hold at one time. So that means that you can go out for longer. And the weird thing is, there is not an HP system in this game necessarily. Whenever you take damage, you lose 30 seconds of your time. Which means that time and HP are the same. So not only do you have to manage time going, because you have to come back from the wild area. If you run out of time out there, you die. But if you get hit too much, you'll run out of time. So you have to, like, this is cool balance there. Unfortunately, I think this game has a fatal flaw. And I don't know if you thought this too, or if this was just me, but the combat sucks in this game.
I have a couple of things to say about the entire game, but I guess we can start with the combat because, yeah, it sucks. The game tries to strike a balance between time and HP by not letting you have any HP at all, but instead having your time be HP, and it only turns out to be a slugfest because what you have to effectively do is stock up way too much time, go to a boss, face tank everything, grab a ship part, leave, and then play other games until you can come back.
Yeah. And I will say that, as what you just mentioned is actually one of the most fascinating things about the game, which I actually really like. It is very easy to get the internal timer to keep on going because it runs while you're playing other UFO 50 games. So while it's as part of the collection, I feel like it would not work as its own game, but because it's part of this collection, the idle part is more manageable because you can always just go to any of the other games, which the rest of the collection wants you to hop between games anyways. So this is like the ultimate version of that, I had to say.
Right. For other reasons, but yeah.
Right. Um, Obviously Slard is there.
Slard is there. He guards the wild area.
Yeah, Slard Guard. It's like Chard Guard, except for more slug-like. Um, for all 18 people in the world who know that reference, you're the goat.
Chard guard or chard bard?
Ooh, true. Now, here's the thing. The unfortunate thing when I played UFO 50 is earlier in the year, I had played another video game that was trying to have the combat of Legend of Zelda. And that video game was the Shadow Mantle Sword game from Deltarune. And of the two games, only one of them has good combat, and it is not Pilot Quest. The hitbox for the yo-yo, not only does it come out too slow, but it's way too small. You have no movement options at all. And you never get an upgrade for that. And you only can get one singular upgrade for, like, in terms of, like, your arsenal, which is a gun. Which
I didn't even get the gun. I only got the whip yo-yo.
The gun uses moon crystals to fire, but whenever you enter the wild area, your moon crystals go back down to 0. So you have to grind up on moon crystals in the wild area before you can even use it. So it's barely an upgrade. And also, the way that the combat works, enemies just run towards you anyways, and the gun isn't that helpful. Like, you can't... The combat lets the whole game down, in my opinion. Like, I actually enjoyed exploring the wild area. I think that was my favorite part of the game, was like getting further and further each time. Like, I think that that's cool. Like, the exploration part of the game, I actually quite enjoyed it. The rest of it there's a little bit of roughness around the edges. Like I think that in my opinion, the only part of the game that truly felt well thought out was the idle part of the game. And like even and like regardless of whether you like it or not, I think that they balanced how you get the upgrades and like as well as they possibly could have. But
Right.
just the combat's so bad. It sucks. I was trying to make it as interesting as possible for my adoring fans, but like, bro, it's just
It's just
pressing
not a
the
game that you can finish
it's just pressing the attack button, bro.
Gamers be like, this combat is so fire that it's pressing the B button 17 times.
Oh my gosh, it's Cinderace players from Pokemon Unite. No way.
Real.
All Cinderace mains. If you like Cinderace, please play Pilot Quest. You will like it. So, and then like the story, it's literally just Pikmin 1.
Yeah. Your ship has crashed. Good for you.
Yeah, hit a meteor, ship has crashed, find the parts. There's no Pikmin though.
I 5 spaceship parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Wait, how many spaceship parts? What?
There's 5, I think,
No,
right?
3.
Oh.
3, and then one of the 3, by the way, is your LX 7000. So you
I
basically
only got the little boop on the top, so
yeah, so you basically have to you get his gaming console. That's one of the key parts that you have to find. I laughed so hard when I saw what I had got. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me, bro!" It's like Olimar. It's like if Olimar wasn't willing to leave the planet in Pikmin 1 because he didn't have his piggy bank.
uh,
That's what
to
it's
be
like.
fair,
Yeah.
he ends up being broken the second one.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind
To
of.
be fair, he's not broke. His company is broke.
It's Chocho's.
So
It's Chocho's fault.
let's be for real. His 401k is completely ruined for the rest of time.
Yeah.
However, he does get a lot of treasure, so he'll be fine. Pilot, on the other
He'll be
hand,
fine.
if you complete the game, the way that they do it is interesting, and honestly, I kind of like it. Um, how you complete the game is you get all the parts and then you have to buy the ship fuel for like 10 billion science and 10 billion
Yeah. I
ingots.
never got the science of thing.
Yeah, you have to find the gear and give it to Mr. Science Man, Dr. Lumen.
Mm.
But once you leave, there's the credit scene. It's very cute, and then Pilot crashes again,
Oh no.
and then the game starts over. But the difference is that there's like these statues, and like you can get each time you restart the game, you can get an upgrade, a permanent upgrade. Like I chose the one that makes your production twice as fast. There's one that makes your health more. There's one that I think that makes your attack power higher, maybe, or maybe like your stamina lasts longer. I don't know. But they're like permanent upgrades, so it makes replaying the game easier. Um, do you know about the cherry condition to beat the game?
Dude, I didn't even beat the game. Like, this game is just not interesting to me. I'll explain a little bit more when I get into my personal analysis, but I do not know. I bet it's beat the game like 5 times, though.
No, apparently, I had to look this up because it says you have to find the Donka Donka idol, which is a very funny name. Apparently, after you like get all the parts and the ship fuel, but before you leave, if you go out into the world, there's like 6 different spots that like a super boss will appear, and then you have to beat him, and then he'll teleport to one of the other spots, and you have to beat him 6 times in like one run. And then you get the Donka Donka idol. Which I've looked at like the Discord for UFO 50 and everyone just kind of like hates how grindy it is because you don't know which of the 6 places he's gone, so you waste time. And then like at the same time, he's also really, 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 really strong. And so it's like it's where like the combat of the game gets pushed way further than it can possibly handle. So let's jump into personal onions. Personal opinions.
Yes. Personal onion time.
Give me your greatest onion.
So, I'm gonna call myself out here. I play occasionally a game called Clicker Heroes, which is an idle game that's pretty popular. and I have gotten to about E 750 maybe. Basically, I've gotten enough money to where there's 750 zeros after it. That's a lot of zeros.
Oh.
I've been playing this game for actual years, and Pilot Quest reminds me of the worst aspects of Clicker Heroes, which is the grind. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you just gotta click like a million times in order to build up your combo. Sometimes you just gotta wait to get the meat. Sometimes you just gotta go out and see if there's anything in the world. And it's just like, no. It also reminds me of Cult of the Lamb, which I tried to play. I really tried to play, and it just did not. It
Yeah.
did not work for me.
That game
It
doesn't
tries,
have an aesthetic I would ever enjoy.
yeah. Like
Uh,
I'm trying to like, so like that game was supposed to be balanced around like you have to get resources from the roguelike part of the game to support your things in the sim part of the game, but the roguelike sucks. The roguelike itself sucks. And so it's basically just a sim game with the bad art style. Don't fight me. Oh, no, actually, do fight me. I will fight you on this.
oh,
It
wait,
has
are you
some
talking
bad
about
art.
Pilot Quest?
No, 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 no. This is Cult of the Lamb.
Oh, I was about to say, I will
No, no,
kill you. I
no, no, no. I
will.
love Pilot Quest.
Okay,
Pilot looks
okay.
like a goober. He's an idiot. I love him.
Yeah, he's kind of a silly little guy.
He's a little chonker. That's all he is. But Cult of the Lamb, don't like it. And Pilot Quest reminds me of the worst parts of that combined with Clicker Heroes. And I did not like anything besides the aesthetic of the game much at all, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate because it has no reason to exist anyways. Because diegetically speaking, an idle game would never be released in that time period.
Well, let's be for real. Um, the whole like thing of this game is that it
Yeah,
is retro games with modern game design. Like
I know.
roguelikes didn't exist back then either. Like something like Velgress could have never existed back
Well,
in 1983. But
technically
I see
speaking,
what you
Rogue is
mean.
one of the oldest games out there.
But
The
like,
game that Roguelike is from, Rogue, is very old, but it didn't get adopted until much recently.
like the
Much.
way that they do things, and also like
Yeah,
4X games, and like there's just like a lot of things. Like the whole point of UFO 50 is that like they were way ahead of their time, basically.
yeah. But I think that some things shouldn't be adapted.
Yeah.
Idle games was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. Idle games have a very specific niche, and I like the way that they operate as a game that you can play on the side, but not as their own big game TM.
Right. Like feasibly, if this company really existed, this game would have sold one copy because like you would play it for 10 minutes and then stop playing, but like that's not how you played video games in the 80s. You had like
Right.
one video game every like half a year, and you played that game for like the entire time, and you just like, and that's why they were so hard, because they had to entertain you for ages, because games didn't release
Yeah.
every couple months.
They were
Uh,
also designed with quarters in mind for a
yeah,
while.
yeah, the arcade, our quarter stuff. We finally started to see that go away with Nintendo in like
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey, which is like insane that it took that long, but
Life
um,
systems have their place, but
yeah,
not in most games anymore.
yeah. The Here's my personal take. I liked that every single episode that I recorded of my first batch of UFO 50, where I was just playing them all for the first time, I knew that even if I hated both games, which honestly it never happened that I hated both, but even
Right.
if that did happen, I always had Pilot Quest to go to, play a little bit of, make a little progress, and then leave it alone. And that was the only way that the game was marginally fun, and I did think it was fun, but like if I were to give it a score, I would give it like a 60, because I actually think that the idle progression is actually pretty well done.
I actually do agree that the idle progression is done well enough. Speaking from experience, I'm still gonna give it like a 50.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
failed.
yeah,
It failed.
yeah. Pilot. It's what's nice for him is it's not his last game. Actually, he has
Yeah,
two more appearances in the collection.
yeah.
I believe if I have to recall correctly, I think he's the character with the most appearances, and then the next character that has the most appearances is Alpha, and then the next is Isabel.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, which is pretty funny. Unless you count, of course, all the different times that the Campanelle appears in other games as Pilot being in it, then he's in like half the games in the collection.
Yeah, yeah. Technically, that's an actually though. We don't do those.
One last thing I forgot to mention.
Hmm.
Return to Zoldath. How do you think this game relates to the original planet Zoldath? Because this is the same planet as that game. Like, that's why that's
Yeah.
the subtitle of the game. And I know that we're not talking about Planet Zoldath necessarily right now, but, like, what do you think about that connection? Like, his first appearance ever, both for the Campanella and for himself, and then this being this game. Like, what do you think of that?
Um. After playing a little Zoldath, I'll have to like just play it more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But perhaps surprisingly, I think it's apt. I think it's quite apt, actually.
Oh, how so?
The environments are these all weird different colors.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
screen scrolling is very similar. The only difference is that the enemy sizes are way different.
Yeah, that is true, actually. It is, I think it's also literally the same enemies as well. Like,
Just
the,
like scaled differently so that Pilot can actually, fight back instead of uh, hoping you get a gun.
yeah, you're so true, bro. Or you could get a mine and blow yourself up in 1 second. Source that I
Source.
there is no source. This didn't happen actually. There is no blowing yourself up in Planet
By
Zodath.
real Soldathians, this never happened.
The most interesting thing about this for me is the random generation of Planet Zoldath is actually still in Pilot Quest. Every single time you begin a new game, the paths are slightly different because the different paths will be blocked off compared to each other, and the caves will rearrange themselves. So, like, whenever you enter
Wait,
a
when you
cave,
start a new game or when you start a new like run back through?
once you finish the game and he crashes again, it will change.
Okay. So the world is one world procedurally changed a little bit.
Yeah, so like the map is the same, but whichever cave you walk into, the and like which cave that'll take you to is changed.
Thor Rando. Got it.
Yeah. And also some pathways are different, so sometimes you have to go different routes.
Okay.
So
I like that.
it does carry that over from the original Planet Zoldath. You know what this game makes me think of?
Hmm.
And again, we've talked about these two games a lot, despite the fact we haven't talked about them yet. They remind me about how Barbuta, well, like how Mooncat is the spiritual successor to Barbuta, sorry. Like Mooncat is like sort of based off of Barbuta in many ways. I think that Pilot Quest,
Game, yeah.
yeah, I think that Pilot Quest is the spiritual successor to Planet Zoldath, and it literally does have the same characters.
Yes, it is called Return to Zoldath.
But like, it's not. It's like, it still feels more like a spiritual sequel than an actual sequel, because like, they didn't know what they were doing with Pilot at the time. Like, he doesn't look anything like his other appearances, basically.
Bro is skinny. He looks like Eve from Mother 1.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I was gonna say. We have the same. It's Earthbound Beginnings, actually.
Bro.
When are they releasing Earthbound 2? Hit video game
Please.
Earthbound. Reggie,
Please.
please. We've talked about this. Reveal Mother 3 for the Nintendo 3DS system, please. Anyways.
Or the Nintendo Switch family of systems.
True.
Not Cope, I swear.
No, it's not Copium. I'd say that we've given our final verdicts. And so at this point, I'm gonna check something real quick. Alright, I've found it. So the games we're playing over the next 2 weeks are Golf,
Drum roll.
Golfaria and Rakshasa.
Hmm.
Bum 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 bum. Two, probably like as far as aesthetically as possible from each other. Which
Yeah,
I
they
think,
could not be more different.
which I am looking forward to doing, with you.
Yippee.
So I will catch you guys all next time. Thanks as always, Will, for joining the show.
Of course,
And
I will play those games,
good.
and I look forward to it.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll see you guys later. See you all. Love you. Bye.